Welcome back to Voice from the Corner. Hope you're all well. Hope you're all safe. Now, Pete, it looks like Tyson Fury versus Alexander Usyk is in jeopardy after Hrgovic looks like he's the new mandatory for Alexander Usyk. How are you feeling about this?
Well, firstly, Jack and everyone out there, great to be back on. I hope you're all enjoying these podcasts. And the subscribers are going up. We're getting a lot of views, so thank you to everyone who's supporting the channel. And make sure you press that share button underneath. You can post it on your social media. You can share it with your friends on WhatsApp, and keep spreading the word because it's great having you all on it. Firstly, the fight's in jeopardy. The fight was never happening. They talk about fights a lot of the time. And for me, we're nowhere near the fight happening. And I don't think we're anywhere near the fight happening until they're both in the ring. Even the day before, fights can fall through. Before we carry on about these mandatories and all these positions and all this sort of stuff, firstly, what do the belts mean to these fighters now they've won everything? Yes, he wants to become an undisputed champion, Alexander Usyk, and Tyson ain't become an undisputed champion yet. But I think a belt with Tyson Fury, Alexander Usyk, or Alexander Usyk, Tyson Fury, the best heavyweight in the world, is a better belt than all these loads of belts out there and all this sort of business, in my opinion. We're seeing that Dillian White's fighting Franklin in a few weeks, couple of weeks or whatever. Dillian White wins that fight. Dillian White's put back in a position. What is going on? At the end of the day, it's not rocket science how to make these fights. And Alexander Usyk has turned around and said, there's only one fight I want. Well, his manager's turned around and said, there's only one fight that Alexander Usyk wants, and that's Tyson Fury. And that's the fight the fans want to see, and that's the fight the fans want to hear about. He's got Derek Chisora now, Tyson Fury, in December. He's ready for, let's look at that again, March, St. Patrick's Day. I keep saying it. It's going to be the launch of my book, Irish Blood and Grit. That's the top and bottom of it. But pre-sales on December. So I'll keep you informed. But going back to what we're saying about Tyson and Alexander Usyk, it's a fight that can be made easily if they keep it simple. I've heard there's comments come back from Tyson Fury turning around saying that fight will happen in Saudi. I mean, come on, everybody. We want that fight in the UK, surely. We want it at Wembley. What a fight that'd be for the British fans. They talk about they're not interested in the money. If they're not interested in the money, why are they going to Saudi? Let's stop talking about it. It's the boxing hub. It's the boxing hub of wherever. Eddie Hearn's been turning around and said, it's a boxing hub. Boxing hub of what? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's not the boxing hub.
Square Garden first, Las Vegas second, and we've got to go to Wembley third. It's got to be the third biggest place for boxing in this day and age.
100%.
Let's cut to all the rubbish. Let a broadcaster like Sky. So we've got no cutouts while the fight's going on and this going wrong and that going wrong. I'll call it a terrestrial channel now because a lot of people have got Sky now. Like most people have got Sky now. And if you ain't got it, you can pay-per-view it because that's a pay-per-view fight. All these other fights ain't pay-per-view. That show the weekend. Exhibitions, irrelevant of what it is, right? $16.99. People, look at the cost of living of today. The cost of living is unbelievable. And people are paying 17 quid to watch exhibition fights. It's a joke. But going back to that, Tyson Fury, Alexander Usyk, come on. These are the fights that need to be made, in my opinion. I'm not interested in what straps they got round their waist. The names mean everything, in my opinion. And they've both got unbelievable records. What an unbelievable record it would be for Alexander Usyk if he beat Tyson Fury, hung the gloves up. 21 fights. And he beat every cruiserweight in the world and beat every heavyweight in the world. That's the top and bottom of it. And the same goes to Tyson Fury. I think he cemented his legacy if he beats Alexander Usyk. He cemented his legacy of this era, in my opinion. What more can I say?
Let's go back to the mandatory fights. Does Hrgovic have a chance? Can he beat Usyk? Because everyone's writing him off already.
Well, look, there's a famous thing. Like, before I go on and say can he beat him or can't he beat him or what he can do, yeah, there's a famous thing called, blockers, right? And I'm not going to say the other word, but everyone knows what it is. The blockers, yeah, right, of when you're on a night out, yeah, right? And that's what Eddie Hearn's become, yeah? He's become one of them people. And jump in the middle of it for a bit of publicity. Well, he's got to fight Hrgovic first, right? So Eddie Hearn ain't that interested in boxing, is he? He's interested in the business of boxing. We all want to see that fight, Alexander Usyk versus Tyson Fury. There ain't many more fights out there for Tyson Fury. He beats half of these people blindfolded, which he showed against Dillian White at Wembley Stadium. Let's be real. Yeah. But going back to the Hrgovic fight with Usyk, does he have a chance? No, he don't have a chance. But I don't think he's got the motivation to be fighting Hrgovic, in my opinion. I don't think he's got the motivation to fight Hrgovic. I think he wants Tyson Fury. I think Tyson Fury's rubbed him up the wrong way, and he wants to prove that he is the best. And he believes he's the best. So he believes he beats Tyson Fury. So I see an interview with Tyson the other day, just skipped along it on social media. And it was saying that he don't care about unbeaten record. He don't care about belts. He don't care about money, right? And, it don't make no difference. So if it don't make no difference, who cares if they've got a belt? The two best heavyweights in the world, as we speak, are Tyson Fury and Alexander Usyk. So it's very, very simple. It's just like a Champions League final or a World Cup final. Yeah, it's like pulling Man United out of the Champions League final. Yeah, or Bayern Munich or someone, right? And putting in Sheffield Wednesday. Yeah, and so let them two play against each other, because that's what it's becoming. That's what it's becoming. Let's be real here. That is what it's becoming. So, for me, who wants to see Hrgovic, Usyk? Nobody. Who wants to see Tyson Fury? What's his name? Derek Chisora. Nobody. Who wants to see it? Who wants to see it?
We'll get charged pay-per-views for it.
What's that?
We'll get charged pay-per-view for it.
Are you going to pay for it?
Well, I want to see the undercard, and I'd want to see the price.
What is the undercard?
If it's 15 quid, I'll pay for it personally.
Well, there's going to be no value on the undercard, is there? Because the top of the bill gets all the money. And if you want to go on to that subject of the top of the bill gets all the money, yeah, and the undercard, you got someone that's on 25 million at the top of the bill, and you got somebody on 800 quid on the undercard at the bottom of the undercard, and that's realistic. And that ain't just this day and age. That was happening when Lennox Lewis was topping bills. So that's another subject. Later on in the future we can sit there and talk about, Jack. You know what I mean? But for now, we're talking about Alexander Usyk, Tyson Fury. Right? Let's make it happen. Let's make this fight happen. Let's put pressure on this fight happening. Yeah. Again, boxing fans are very, very fickle as well. Boxing fans have got to stand up just like football fans and say, look, come on, we ain't paying pay-per-views. We ain't paying for that. Unless it's worth paying for, we ain't paying for it. Let's try and make the top of the bills good first before we even think about the undercard. Jesus Christ, we're not even getting decent top of the bills at the moment. We're not even, we're getting certain shows and they're standing out a million miles away from other shows. Do you know what I mean? I'm hearing mad numbers for certain fights, and I think, is that really worth that? Is this really worth it? Eubank Jr. versus Liam Smith. That don't need a belt. Put a Levi belt on the line, and that's still a great fight. Billy Joe Saunders versus Eubank. We don't need a belt.
I think we all know that already, though, because I think as fans, I don't think we really care about the belts.
Put a Primark belt on the line. But what they do, they try and put a Gucci belt on the line, yeah, an IBF, a WBC, a WBO, right? Because that gives the value to the fight. But they don't realise that the opponent, yeah, is not even worth a Primark belt. And that's the truth of it. We all know it's a hard game, but come on, smell the coffee, people. What is it coming to? And when I say that's the top and bottom of it, the problem is that's the top. There's a top fighter, but he's fighting the bottom of it. He's fighting someone that's nowhere near his league. It's just madness, you know. Look, I want people to come on. I want people to come on the channel. I want people to debate these things with me. I want people to say, well, this is my reasoning of why I say this. And people always say there's too many belts. There's never enough belts because everybody needs a belt to hold their trousers up. So at the end of the day, if the fights are quality, we're not going to moan about belts if we're getting quality fights. So they can all have a belt to hold their trousers up. Because they're all worth wearing a belt if the quality of the fights are good enough.
But look, do you not think it'd be better for boxing if we just had one belt for each division, like the UFC does?
Yeah, it would be. Yeah, but the UFC is a lot smaller pool, though. It's a much smaller pool. You've got to realise, when you watch UFC shows, and I don't even watch them, I'm more interested in going to KFC than watching UFC. I've just never been interested in it. I'll be honest with you, I've never sat down and watched it, to be honest with you. But I know with the panel of people, McGregor, I know I don't know if he's still fighting or whatever. McGregor, Diaz, or whatever, or the next person. But it's like the same pool of people, 6 people. So it's a little bit like a prize fighter. And they all fight each other and go around in circles to a degree. So in boxing, there is a lot bigger pools. And I think a little bit of crown and glory, as they say, is nice to have a little strap round your waist when, you win as you go up the leagues, as within football. But yeah, they are well over abused, the belts. I'm not disputing that. But what I'm saying is it don't matter if everyone's bowling about with a Primark belt and we're getting quality fights, Jack. Yeah? If we're getting quality fights, we're not going to argue that it's for a belt. It's because we're getting rubbish. We're getting rubbish. This is a WBO number 1. WBO number 1's fighting Johnny Jones. No one's even heard of. Do you know what I mean? Half of them fights on his record have probably been paid to be put on there. That's the top and bottom of it. That's the truth of it. And that's what it's become. And then and then Roy Jones, Silky Jones, whatever you want to call the geezer, yeah, who's class, who's a top amateur anyway, smashes the geezer to pieces, right? Who's just come out of the car wash, yeah? And they go, whoa, what's a performance? We've all got to get behind this guy. Then he goes out and fights a mediocre Mexican or a mediocre Yank, yeah, and gets smashed to pieces. I think it was just a bad night he had there. He'll come again. And they'll bring him back against a bum again, a washed up bum again. Let's be real here. Come on, everybody's got to understand this. And look, these people, a lot of these people are just cheating themselves. I've done it boxing, I admit it. I cheated myself boxing at times. Fighting geezers that no disrespect, so I didn't even have to train for. Honestly, I could have had one hand tied behind my back. But you're told that's the business of boxing. But all they're doing is taking money off you, taking money out of you. Do you know what I mean? And stupid me, I was fighting for nothing at times. I was fighting for nothing. But that's another story. That's going to go be next book, the second book. The first book's about my life. It's not really about my boxing. There's parts of boxing in it, but not really that much in it. And in the description, it don't mention boxing. It talks about my fighting life. But yeah, what more can we say?
Well, yeah. Well, look, we've hit the 15-minute mark. We agreed we'll keep this short. Is there anything else you'd like to say?
Well, Jack, I could go on all night. We could go on for 14 hours if you want. But listen, the subject obviously is Tyson Fury, Alexander Usyk. We don't need anybody to get in the way of this fight. Keep it simple, keep it amicable, put it on a decent channel everybody can get, not a channel that cuts out because your Wi-Fi is bad or whatever. Put it on a decent channel. Tyson Fury says he don't care about the money. I can't see why he wants to fight in Saudi Arabia. I think the fight should happen in the UK. I think he's got much more home advantage fighting in the UK than what he has fighting Alexander Usyk in Saudi Arabia, in my opinion. But as they say, money talks, BS walks. That's the top and bottom of it. So I'll leave it there. And what I'd like to say is everybody press that like button, press that subscribe button if you ain't subscribed already, because I will come looking for you.
And don't forget to leave a comment.
No one's safe on Voice from the Corner. That's the top and bottom of it.
That's the thing. Make sure you leave a comment, everyone, because we want to hear what you have to say. We reply to as many as possible, so you know you're more than likely to get a reply from one of us. So yes.
And don't feel because we ain't replied that you don't want to reply. I'll reply to any comment that goes on it. I'll reply to any comment that goes on it. You know, if I see the comments, Jack sees the comments, you know, we will reply to them. And it's more, the most important thing is for people to spread the word if you enjoy the channel, and to your friends, your family, your cousins, your uncles, and even let the dogs press subscribe if they can. Do you know what I mean? But like, you know, the channel's doing well. I'm enjoying the channel again. I'm enjoying the talks, and I think it's more important that I'm just putting out my side of how I feel about things. People say, oh, I'm biased towards it. I'm biased. You realise I'm not biased towards anything, and I say what I see, and I'm honest as they come with things like this. And you know, at the end of the day, I know I'm gonna, you know, I'm like Marmite. People are either gonna like me or hate me, and end of the day, you know, I've got my family and I've got my friends. And if these people in boxing don't want to talk to me because, you know, I've just stood up and said what I felt, I will say this about fighters. I was a fighter myself, and they're the strongest people inside the ring mentally, but outside the ropes, some of them are the weakest people because they can't even take criticism to try and build them and make them better. And that's the top and bottom of it. Hope you all enjoyed it.
Sweet. Thanks everyone for watching.